the data was collected. This, I feel, is the tip of the iceberg. Back in early 2000, my organization filed FOIA requests, received thousands of pages of documents. We looked at different CDC studies, one in particular authored by Dr. Verstatten, which was looking at thimerosal exposure and adverse neurodevelopmental outcomes. In their first run of that data that was, again, never reported, that we received by FOIA, they found that in children who received high levels of exposure compared to no exposure, an increased risk of autism that was 7.6 to 11.4 times that of the children who had not received any exposure. They altered the entrance criteria by making it mandatory to be in the study that you have received 2 polio vaccines. So the next run of the data, they had no control group. They had no 0 exposure levels. So it was just a comparison between, an analogy would be a 2-pack-a-day smoker versus a 4-pack-a-day smoker in lung cancer. So these are the reasons why the parents have concerns. That particular data was altered 4 more times before it was published. So other associations that still stood were speech and language delays, neurodevelopmental delays in general, ADD, ADHD, speech and language delays, tic disorders, misery disorders. Those were the findings in that particular set of data. So these problems have been going on for years now. I could cite 3 other studies, 2 of them authored by Dr. Thorson, who is now on the most wanted list by the Inspector General's Office for fraud and money laundering, who authored 2 studies. And these studies were used by the Institute of Medicine to say that there was no association between vaccines and autism. So I think that this committee should ask the Secretary, one of the things we're charged to do is to report things to the Secretary that are concerning. I think this should be reported to the Secretary and ask for special counsel to investigate these allegations because they directly affect what we do here as a committee. So that would be my recommendation, John, in terms of having this investigated to try to get truth for these families. In terms of the comments about comorbidities, I hope that this workshop today will continue and that this work group will continue and that this will progress rapidly. It's been far too long in the coming.